everybody. Randy Lanham here, Education Director at the Bluegrass Music Hall of Fame Museum. Yes, I have a guitar in my hands right now, and I want to show you the fundamentals of starting and how to correctly hold your pick, what your right hand's doing, what your left hand is doing, and all that good stuff. There's a lot of technique that goes into playing instruments. So I just wanted to make a video where we're just covering the correct way to hold it, correct way to play it. So let's start with our left hand. So you notice on the guitar here, I have a strap. Of course, I'm sitting down, really don't need it. You don't have to have a strap. First thing I want to do, I tell everybody, the crease in this guitar right here, what I want to do is put that on my right leg. So if I'm sitting or standing up, if I'm sitting here, if it's on my right leg, that guitar sits, you notice it sits right in front of me. Look how easy it is for me to strum close to that sound hole where I'm supposed to. Look how easy it is for my left hand to actually reach the neck and hold it. Now watch this. If I put this over on my left leg, then the guitar, all of a sudden over here, I can still reach it okay with this hand, but all of a sudden now my wrist is kind of in a way where I can't see as well and I can't reach as well over here. So I always put this placing your guitar on your right leg, and then it kind of sits right in front of you. Look at here. I can lean that guitar just a little bit to be able to see my fingers when I'm playing and be able to see the strings as I'm strumming and picking. So this is a good spot. Speaking about leaning, you can lean that a little bit. I know when you're a beginner, you have to be able to see your left hand to know what notes you're playing. You got to see your right hand to know what you're strumming. So it's okay to lean that guitar just a little bit. I do always tell people flat up to your stomach, right? But you can lean a little bit. But some people want to put it flat on their lap. You don't want to do that. Sometimes the strap, you notice this strap is actually helping me not to do that. It's actually forcing me not to lay it on my lap. So that's a good thing. Strap's really good if you're going to be standing up, obviously. If you're going to be sitting down, which I recommend for a beginner, you don't have to worry about a strap. So we got this in front of us, right? My left hand is going to hold this neck at all times, regardless if I'm even playing the guitar. If I'm just holding it and talking to you, I kind of want something to be able to stabilize this guitar. Sometimes I'll be messing around and holding it up here, and a strap will just fall right off, and I could drop this guitar on the floor. So I always recommend people to hold it in some way, even when you're not playing. The left hand on the neck is a good way to do that, just to support your guitar from falling off your lap and falling on the floor. If I'm just recklessly just kind of loosening this guitar could easily fall. So I just want to hold on to that. Left hand on the neck. Of course, these are our tuning keys. This is the nut. These are our frets right here. The frets are little silver bars that stick out, and we count these like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to stay down here. We're going to be only working on the first 4 or 5 today just for this introduction. So we have our neck here. And what I want to do, first thing I want to talk about is how our left wrist is going to be straight when I hold that guitar. And here's what I mean by that. A straight wrist means I'm holding it, and even as I'm making like a G chord here, my wrist is pretty much straight. Or if I play a melody, my wrist is straight. I'm going to tell you the reason why. Now you won't be able to see it as well when I got back here. But look at this. If I palm that guitar, which means bend my wrist and put the neck on the palm of my hand, all of a sudden my fingers cannot reach near as far. So I have a bent wrist here. You can see I bend my wrist and I put the neck on the palm of my hand. Now all of a sudden I can reach the bottom string okay. Once I start getting up on those other strings, I can't hardly reach it. That pinky won't hardly work at all for me when I have a bent wrist. Not like when it's straight. And you see that reach? Look at the difference. If I'm trying to reach some strings, as soon as I straighten that wrist, look at that. Those fingers come around and I'm able to reach all those notes. Watch this. With my wrist straight, look how my fingers arch around and I can reach all the notes. Now that's whether I'm playing chords or if I'm playing a melody. You want to position yourself in a way that you can reach all the notes at any point, whether you're going from chords into a melody or playing either one of those, chords or a melody. So not only a straight wrist, let's talk about where we hold this in our hand. I don't want to hold this guitar all the way down in the palm of my hand, and that way, here's what's going to happen. the bottom of this hand's going to be touching those strings. It's not going to be good. So what I want to do is push it out just a little bitty bit, put it between my thumb and my finger. I'll tell everybody a good place to start. You might adjust this a little as you go, but a good place to start, bottom crease of your finger, that pointer finger where it attaches to my hand, that bottom crease. I'm going to put that right on the corner of this fingerboard, right on the corner. And that's a good spot. Now if you look real close, you're going to see a space back here. And that's okay to have a little bit of room. You're using that thumb on the back to hold that guitar and push. While these fingers are pushing down on the strings, my thumb back here is pushing the other direction, kind of squeezing down to make those chords. Okay? So I have a straight wrist. I have the bottom crease of my finger right here on the fingerboard, right? That way I can reach around and make different chords and play different melodies on different strings. I can reach just about anything I want right here. Using the tips of your fingers is very important for the sound. A lot of people, when they first start, they want to come in here on the side and play notes on the side of their finger. So if I'm pushing a string using the side of my finger, I can't push as well. If I'm arching it, I'm using the tip, I can push down better. Yes, it will make the tips of your fingers sore, but they will develop calluses over a month or so, and then they'll get to where they don't bother you anymore. But using the tip is so important. Another thing, I don't want to push down directly on top of a fret. So you notice this note that I'll play for you. I'm on the bottom E string behind the 3rd fret. So in tablature, we would call that E3, standing for E string behind the 3rd fret. So if I'm playing this E3, notice how I'm between the frets, or I might be a little closer to one fret over the other one, and that's okay, but I'm not on top of it. So listen to this clean sound that I'm making in between the fret. Now look if I go on top of that 3rd fret. Hear the difference in the sound? So you definitely want to stay off of the frets. You want to stay between them. So if I'm on an E string 3rd fret, that means I'm on the E string behind that 3rd fret between number 2 and 3. And I'm going to use the tip of my finger and I'm going to push in the middle of the frets. That's so important. So we're not using the side of our finger, we're using the tip. And we're not pushing on top of a fret, we're pushing behind it to get a good sound. So again, left hand, we want a straight wrist. We want to hold it to where the bottom crease of the finger is lined up on this corner. We want to arch our fingers over. We want to use the tip to push down on the strings, and we want to stay off the frets. Okay, I think I covered everything for the left hand, unless I forgot something. Let's move over here to the right hand. First of all, let's talk about how we hold our pick. So I hold my pick. The widest part of the pick I'm going to put between my thumb and my pointer finger. You notice on the pointer finger, I'm not using the tip. It's not like this. I got my thumb here, and I'm kind of using it on the side of my pointer finger like this. You see how I'm holding this? And then the tip of that pick is sticking out, and that's what I'm going to use to strum the strings. Where do I strum? You don't have to go right directly over top the sound hole, but you want to stay somewhere close. A lot of people, a lot of guitar players, you'll see them strum on the back side of the sound hole. That's totally fine. It's kind of basically just like the other instruments. Where the fingerboard ends and where the bridge is, it's really the center spot is the sweet spot between the fingerboard and the bridge. Okay? So if I get right in the center, you notice that center of that is kind of on the back side of this sound hole right here, right? So listen to the sound if I strum too close to the bridge. Here's my sweet spot. And here's me on the fingerboard. The tone is not as good. I know it don't sound as bad up there, but it's still not as good. Listen to that. Hear that? Hear how much cleaner it is? So that's a sweet spot. That's where you want to strum, whether you're doing chords whether I'm doing a melody. I'm playing right here between the fingerboard and the bridge. That's the sweet spot. That's the best tone we're going to get. One of the first things you want to do is get the strings memorized as well. So from the top it goes E, A, D, G, B, and E. We're going to go over that in another video, but that's the first thing you want to do, memorize your strings. Let's talk about our pick stroke. I'm going to go on down to that bottom E string. I'm just going to play an open string. I'm not worried about my left hand making any notes right now. I just want to get you used to playing different kind of down and up stroke with your pick, like this. Down stroke, up stroke, down, up. So I'm going back and forth. Every time I go down stroke to the floor, I'm coming up stroke towards my head. A lot of people, when they play a melody, if I'm playing like bowl of cabbage down, what they'll want to do is they'll want to go down stroke every time. They'll want to go down, 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 down. But you're working twice as hard as you have to. You don't have to do that. If you use that up stroke, if I'm hanging on the same string for lots of notes in a row, I want to go down and up stroke and use both of them. I'm literally working half as hard, and you're going to play smoother. Watch this. Notice when I played that melody, I kind of had this wrist right here, rest on these pegs back here behind the bridge so that my pick could kind of hover over top the string. All right? So that is if I'm playing a melody. I'm going to kind of rest that wrist, go down up with a pick like this, right? If I'm playing those melodies. If I'm playing chords, I'm not going to rest this wrist here. I'm going to let it float because what I want to do, I want the flow. If I'm playing a chord, I want it to flow. If I have that wrist down here, it's going to sound like that. Then I'm restricted. I want that wrist to flow like this. Notice how I have this arm. I'm resting it on the back of the guitar. Now, I don't want to do this like this. It's going to wear me out. Or if I'm way up here like this, I can't reach the strings. I'm going to put it right here, and I'm going to get it to where it's comfortable, and I can rest this arm on the guitar. So I can play much longer than in an awkward position where it's going to wear you out or hurt your arm somehow. So, if I'm playing strum, let's talk about a strum. One of your basic strums in bluegrass music. We here at the Bluegrass Music Hall of Fame Museum, you might hear us call it different things, but I like to call it top string down, top string down. This is the top of the chord, so I happen to be playing a G chord here. And what I'm doing, the top of a G chord is actually the very top string, the E string. I'm going E string down. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's basically your ways where you can get used to your left hand, the correct way to hold it, and your right hand, how to hold the pick and how to use the pick. I'll do another video where I'm talking about tablature, getting into the strumming and other things as well. Enjoy.